Yo, well, let me try this again. Hey, yo, welcome to the stream. Has been some time since we've done one of these streams, and boy, do I miss it. Feels great to be back. And this is Clean Pin, where we talk about wrestling, anything wrestling related from NWA, AEW, MLW, all that is wrestling. Been some time since I've done this. Again, it's really hard. Like, you know, just work, family life, and that always just seems to get in the way. And trying to do this, and trying to do this, and trying to be coherent and awake. That's another part that plays into this too, right? I mean, after you're tired from doing adult things, then you try to stay up and try to do your hobby that you like doing so much, and then you just you can't. You just fall asleep, or you start it. I actually think I did start this stream deal once. I believe it was like a couple weeks ago, and maybe it was like last week. I fell asleep. That was pitiful, and that was scratched, and that was taken off of the old download portion here. Um, but yeah, definitely just great to be back. I want to go over a couple of things. What's the saying here? I want to fit 5 pounds of bologna in a 1 pound bag. That's what we're going to um, aim to do here. And there's a couple of news stories to go over from the last couple of weeks. And please do hit the subscribe button, do hit the notification bell. We talk about wrestling on this channel, but I also talk about various other sports. I have a few backlogged videos, and about the NFL with the free agency, Major League Baseball with the free agency. That I'm trying to put up there as well, and all of that news is coming fast and furious. So a lot to look forward to on the from the Bleachers Sports Show channel. So again, do hit that subscribe button, do hit the notification bell, and again, this is called Clean Pin. So where do we uh, begin? Um, geez, I really want to begin with the Hardy, not the Hardy. Well, we'll get to Jeff Hardy. Want to begin with now, not necessarily, just something that I think was done great, and props to it, and that is CM Punk versus MJF. That match that they had on the pay per view was absolutely amazing. amazing. Gotta give credit where credit is due. CM Punk, first of all, and CM Punk on the pay per view, at the pay per view, coming out in his old ring gear, um, with his old theme song from his ROH days. Many people, many fans did not realize it. Assist to the announce table for actually mentioning it, that it was CM Punk's old theme in ROH, and his old gear, um, his old jacket XXX, perfectly done, perfectly done. Remember that is the type of gear too that he had on when he was facing Raven in that brawl, that feud. Raven CM Punk back then was very classic as well, and it's a feud where CM Punk had, if you watched his interviews, has said on more than one occasion was a feud that really, he credits Raven for really helping him kind of develop and being able to tell a story. He credits him for being able to show him how to do that. And you know, this whole feud was perfectly done, old fashioned storytelling from start to finish. It's a storyline, and I was very critical of AEW in the past, where you know I thought that they really did not, AEW really did not um, take time to develop stories and storylines. Rather, they had um, they would just have one-off type of matches. Like for example, when you had Kingston versus um, Punk, that was one match. That was it. One match off. Good night. Sayonara. See you later. That could have been something that could have developed, and they never did. But they took this time, the storyline, and they developed it. And you found yourself, and I think that's a good characteristic of a storyline where you found yourself almost siding with MJF, almost actually agreeing with MJF, right? And I think essentially that's what it is, right? When you look at it, faces and heels, heels do tell the truth in a sense, but it's just a slight over exaggeration. A lot of heels do tell the truth if you listen to what they say, their promos, but it's just a slight exaggeration. And the way this was told, listen, growing up, MJF, idolized CM Punk. You remember that interview? You remember that promo? They were saying that this was MJF's one of his best promos that he idolized, and this was the whole backbone, the whole the whole reason for the feud. MJF felt betrayed, felt that his hero, his savior, CM Punk, had left him. Had left him. Now, I'm sure a lot of people felt that way. A lot of kids looking up to CM Punk, and then he disappears into the night. He disappears. He left his fans. He left his audience. And for many of times there, believe it or not, um, people wanted CM Punk in that time frame that he was left WWE to the time frame that he came to AEW. Some portion during that time frame, bad enough that your hero left you, but your hero doesn't even want to talk about wrestling. Imagine that. There you are, a lifelong CM Punk fan. First, he leaves you. You can't see him on TV anymore wrestling. And instead, when he's being interviewed, he doesn't even want to talk about wrestling. He has neglected you. And that is what MJF said. He was neglected. His hero left him. A lot of us felt that way. So he took that and stretched it to a bit of an over exaggeration. Or was it? It was tugging at your heartstrings. You then find out that MJF, again, continues his story. Years after his hero left him, left the TV screen in that time frame. He makes the football team, and he is the best damn football player there is. But his teammates still don't accept him. He is bullied. He is made fun of. And then, time continues to go on, and he then decides, you know what? I can no longer suppress my feelings of being, I cannot suppress my feelings. I am going to wrestle again. And he uses that. He tugs at your heartstrings, says that he was bullied. Where even the face, who made no, who was very honest and said, listen, I've been a very, very, very bad man before. Even he is confused. Max, is this real? Yeah, it's real. It's real. And then the very following next week, after the embrace, oh my God, what do we just see? The reality hits you again that MJF is a damn snake. He's the devil himself. He's taking you on a roller coaster. your highs and your lows. You no longer feel sorry for him, but you did. That is the sign of a damn good storytelling. When your emotions go on that type of a roller coaster. Job well done. Job well done with the storyline to AEW. Give credit where credit has to be due. Probably one of the best storylines um, in memory. Recent memory. A storyline here that has developed, sticking with as we hold on here 1 second. Actually, well, let's just and that's what we will let's actually skip to Cesaro here for 1 second. It's been mentioned that um, Cesaro, his contract, if you've noticed, Cesaro hasn't been um, Cesaro has not been on your TV screen. And that's because Cesaro's contract quietly has expired. Um, and WWE and Cesaro have not been able to come to new agreement. And Cesaro is no longer with the WWE. Very, it's very quiet, kind of, you might say, as quiet as he was in WWE, just as quietly he is no longer in WWE. Cesaro, um, Cesaro's, when you look at it, I think Cesaro's main problem um, was the promo. When you look back at his career in WWE, was the promo. Um, just not able to cut a good promo. The guy was a damn good wrestler. The guy was a strong a strong dude, just like strong as an ox, strong as a bull. Is that the words? Maybe strong as a bull, strong as an ox. Right, you got it. Dude was super strong and a good wrestler, but this is a entertainment company, right? So for what it's worth, um, he was a multiple title holder. I believe he held the Intercontinental title. maybe the U.S. title, tag titles, that's for sure. So he definitely held a couple of titles here between the mid card titles and tag titles. Just never held the main titles, uh, the Universal and the Raw Championship. Never held it. Um, and he's been in big programs where he could have won the title, but at the end of the day, when you looked at him, they felt that they were, filler. Listen, and ROH and um, WWE are two different animals. WWE is an entertainment company, and he just did not have that promo. Now, for what it's worth, you might say to yourself, listen, he had the Cesaro section, um, which he did try with that. Um, that got a reaction. He also had the um, Cesaro swing, which caused a reaction, a pop with the crowd, with the audience. Um, so he had a couple of things there that you could have run with, you could have done something with. You had that tag team with Hager, or rather, sorry, Jack Hager, who Jack Swagger, Jack Swagger. You had that, We the People. So a couple of things, in Cesaro's career with the WWE that stood out there. A couple of phrases and sayings, moves that stuck for a short period of time there. The Cesaro swing. How can you not? How can you forget that? Vastly got the crowd up on their feet. Um, it 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 just it's listen, respectable career by Cesaro in the WWE. Unfortunately, you know, um, it's just not everyone is meant to be a champion. And in the eyes of Vince McMahon, there was something, that was missing. You have to be larger than life. Really, I think is what it comes down to. If you look at all your champions now in the WWE in the recent past, they're larger than life champions. Looking on, back on it too, I know, kind of consider this a fail, honestly, which is rare. Um, if I'm not mistaken, he was with um, Paul Heyman as well for a short period of time. And listen, Paul Heyman helps out a lot of um, a lot of talent. He helped Brock Lesnar for many of years. Looks like Brock Lesnar has come out of his shell. If you see his career now, Paul Heyman does a lot for the talent. and hide, and he could have hit a lot of the weaknesses. But it still seemed like there was something. And again, that's all right. Rowdy Piper was never um, world heavyweight champion, and I will come back to that. I know, and I probably said that a few times, but I will always come back to that. I do think it was a missed opportunity. Before we wrap up on Cesaro here, um, a missed opportunity with Chris Hero, and Cesaro, um, tagged as a tag team, very successful tag team prior. Just think about where this tag team could have been if it stayed a tag team on the main on the main roster, feuds against the Usos. Um, you would have your back and forths, and that could have been a very decorated team. Um, but again, just what Vince, I think, wants to mold you in his vision, right? So what worked sometimes, or what you think worked, is not what Vince necessarily wants all the time. But there you have it. Cesaro, kind of just moving on. My thoughts on his career in WWE. Respectable career, but it just always seemed, honestly, like that he was missing something. And whenever you thought that he would, kind of get that big opportunity when he had that big program with a championship, it was more of just filler, filler program. So in a sense, it tells you that WWE seen something in him, but as not to the effect of how a lot of indie fans or the IWC felt um, about Cesaro there. So just let's whiff Cesaro. Um, Want to just go over something absurd that we just seen. Want to go over something absurd that we've seen on our TV screens, and I think that's really what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be so so out there, so left field, so I don't know, so head scratching. That's like that's it. Like that's what it's meant to be. So outrageous that uh that you think it sucks, but it'll actually turn out to be great. And that's this Jericho Appreciation Society. How about how about that for a faction name? Jericho Appreciation Society. And it actually, talk about storyline continuality. It's a name for a faction that actually makes sense. What Jericho said, in a sense, actually did happen. Like I believe when he said that he helped out Garcia when Garcia was down and out, he had a huge injury that he donated to like his GoFundMe or donated to his drive, whatever it was. There was actually there is actually record that he actually donated to Daniel Garcia. So he was not lying at all. He was telling the truth. He was telling the damn truth. And listen, one thing I think, and Jericho, who am I to say? Jericho is, he calls himself now the thing that everyone hates, man. And you gotta admit that we kind of already know um, the AEW, the AEW diehard fan here. I think we already know the fan, the type of fan that we have, and that's this hardcore fan. So when you say that you're not a wrestler, that you're an entertainer, oh my, oh my, does that raise up the ears of the AEW faithful? Don't say entertainment. Don't say you're an entertainment company. Say that you're a wrestling company. How dare you? So Jericho has that down. He has the pulse down of what makes the AEW fan tick. So we got the name of a faction here that we think is so ridiculous, but it actually does make sense. It's because it's true stories. So that's true. So you can't really knock that. Um, and um, they, have a name, um, which is ridiculous, but they all told you why they appreciate Jericho. So they actually appreciate him. Now, the only thing here, and they are going to kick everyone's ass that does not approve or does not appreciate Jericho. Now, the only question I have, are you, are we really sticking to this faction for a very long time, or is this only a short term thing? The Jericho theme song, I think, has to be um, retired. Although it kind of um, fits him now anyway, where he's just, where he is a daredevil. Um, that's if that makes any sense to you. Um, yeah, I mean, where he is a daredevil, he is a um, person that apparently is there to destroy you, and that group is there to destroy you. Point is, you can't be um, coming out to a song that is called Judas. You need a new theme song. These fans are singing a Judas um, theme song of a guy who seems like in Jericho Appreciation Society want nothing to do with the fans based on his promo, based on Jericho's promo, because they do nothing for him. So I think you really have to change up that song and get something new, something where the fans aren't singing with you, and but the name of this faction is so horrible, so kooky, so wacky that I actually think that Jericho um, will be able to pull it off. The Jericho Appreciation Society is definitely uh, here to stay, I believe. Um, we've seen, we've seen recently, actually, we've seen the debut of Buddy Murphy in AEW, joining the You Got It, you got it, folks. Buddy Murphy joining AEW, but joining another faction. Another faction is formed, the House of Black. Buddy Murphy looks great. Buddy Murphy looks huge. I have always been a Buddy Murphy fan. I said it from the beginning. I think that storyline with I think that storyline with Folio and the Mysterios was actually damn good. I think it was good. I don't know why people hated it that much. It's probably me, and me and my bad taste in wrestling storylines, but I liked it. And the guy has only gotten bigger and more of a physique now. He looks damn intimidating. By the way, he has shown that he's able to kind of play many different characters. So he's versatile. From what he was portraying on AEW on 205 Live, then the main roster where he was, initially with Seth Rollins, and kind of like almost like when he was with Seth Rollins, kind of like a playing the character of like I don't know, like of a Riggs or like a member of back in the day Ravens flock, kind of like a follower, a disciple, in lack of a better word. Um, and he's made the jump now to AEW, and joining House of Black. He is almost in a sense playing the same character that he was when he was with Rollins, only now a little bit darker, and you've seen him pledge that on AEW a couple of weeks ago. I love the signing. I think, and he has pledged his alliance. This is just keeps on building on what Buddy Murphy is able to do, but able to portray. I think he has many depths as a character, and he's going to do good. He definitely plays the part. Definitely has turned it up with being more evil now and more sinister, and he plays the part very well. So I think Buddy Murphy with AEW is definitely a great sign um, for them. But you got it. Factions and factions, factions, factions everywhere. Everywhere we go, factions. I guess it's good in a sense because you do need to get all these I guess towns on TV, right? Right. So kind of what I believe would probably be the real headline of um, this podcast, but I'm doing it kind of you know reverse order, obviously here. But if you're kind of my age, um, if you're my age, I think if you're like in your 40s, like I am, 41, this era that Scott Hall was in, Scott Hall who passed away at the age of 63. Scott Hall helped usher in a new, like, help usher in a era that is still being talked about today. Still being talked about today, years and years later. Everyone wants the attitude era. And I believe the attitude era, the genesis, was when Scott Hall appeared on WCW TV. If I'm not mistaken, and he did say at that point early on, to a degree of, you know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. And you remember this was, I believe it was in '97. So as a wrestling fan, and there's no internet, the internet is not around, or it's in its infancy. There's no such thing as dirt sheets. I think wrestling had hotlines. Yeah, hotlines. But it's not to the degree of, and sometimes on those hotlines you have people trying to break news. They're never really right. There was no, and there was no There's no internet, there's no camera phones, there's no nothing like you have now, where it's hard to keep a secret uh, on anything. So you thought when you seen Scott Hall on WCW TV, and you just seen him on Raw not too long ago, you thought you never knew what happened. You didn't know that he was signed elsewhere. You thought he was with the company still. You just haven't seen him in a couple weeks. When you see Scott Hall on that TV, you really do think that there's going to be a legit fight. You're going to thought, you know, you were hooked in. You were hooked in even before Scott Hall made his appearance on WCW TV. Even before, yes, before you thought that there would be an actual invasion, because you were hooked in with Razor Ramon. Scott Hall played that character, Razor Ramon, so great that we probably, some of us, and it's okay to admit, some of us probably for the longest time thought that Scott Hall was actually Cuban or Spanish because of the Razor Ramon gimmick. He played it so well. And I remember him from tapes watching him even before he came to WWF. He was Scott Hall. How he morphed into Razor Ramon was in the story in itself. Before then he was more jacked up. He had a mustache. His hair was shorter, looking nothing like Razor Ramon. And the saying is the character Razor Ramon was based off of was almost like the mannerisms, the creation of it, the genesis was after seeing Tony Montana. After seeing Tony Montana, Scarface, and that was the genesis. That was Razor Ramon. You heard the promo, Ayo, the famous Ayo, the toothpick, which let's be honest, every one of us would, once you have that toothpick, you would have that toothpick in your mouth and you would flick it, try to flick it just like Razor Ramon did. Um, you remember when he would just where he would just enter the when he would just, and I'm not doing it any service, but just that cool entrance that he had as Razor Ramon, where he would just kind of just ease into the arena, kind of like the way that Damian Priest does it too when you see him um, start his walk down the aisle. Who, by the way, Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, influenced a ton of people. A ton of reason, the reason why some people wanted to be wrestlers is seeing Scott Hall, seeing Razor Ramon. Ask Damian Priest, who I just mentioned. Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, major influence on Damian Priest. I remember that Razor Ramon character. I remember it, the mannerisms, where he would slide in. I remember you know, where he would have and he would just flip the hair out of his jewelry. I remember when he would give the jewelry to the ring crew guy, and he said, "Listen, to a degree, don't have the exact verbiage down. If something happens to this jewelry, then something will happen to you." And he would say that all the time, and it was captured, and he believed it. Who can forget the ladder match that he had with Shawn Michaels, which was good, which was great, set a precedent. And then fast forward, um, with Kevin Nash would eventually come in, and then they would turn. They would help turn Hulk Hogan against all his friends, the outsiders, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. And NWO was many years a faction. Could they have been a faction longer? I don't know. I think they were just a faction just long enough, because eventually, fans start losing interest. But their first run of the NWO just in WCW was the best. Then you had incarnations of it in WWE and TNA, which never quite worked. But the initial run, because this was such a primitive time as far as social media, everyone thought that this was happening. Just a couple of days before, you had the Click embracing an MSG. Just these moments that stick out to you. The Hall of Fame speech. I mean, a lot of emotion went into that. Um, I know he had some issues, but we all do. We all do, and probably that's why he looks a lot older than he actually was. But you know, Scott Hall was a pioneer. And Razor Ramon multiple time intercontinental champion, and I never had the big strap, never had the big one, and that's okay, because sometimes it's not meant to be in the cards. A great, a great athlete that Scott Hall, the outsider. Rest in peace to Scott Hall. I want to kind of um, speak about what else do I have here on my list? Let me just take a peek here. Ah, yes. How can I forget? Jeff Hardy. Um, man, I said it. I said it. Um, yeah, that Jeff Hardy, who's back. Back with AEW. Not back with AEW. Signs with AEW. It's pretty much. an interview that's out there, and Jeff Hardy pretty much said, "Yeah, I kind of just faked everything that way I could that way, and I knew if I faked it, if I test them, just see what they would do." He's like, he probably knew that WWE would let him go, would release him if he acted the way he did. But everything, pretty much what he just said, everything that um, it's hard. It's hard, but you have to. Um, it's hard for Jeff Hardy, and I'm sure he battles his demons every day. Maybe he doesn't. I could be wrong. But what you just basically said is like, yeah, I made fun of the whole thing, and I need a little vacation. That's what Jeff Hardy said, just to kind of get himself out of WWE and act the way he did on the house show. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? That's very unprofessional for Jeff Hardy to say. Um, you just hope that he's going to be able to stay um, on the straight and narrow for many of um, weeks and months to come. Because I'm sure it's very hard to stay after your I get it. It's hard. It's hard, but you have to try. Hold on here for 1 minute. 1 second. I'll be right back. Short little break. Just want to touch base on Biggie Lanks, and just I'm happy that not happy that about what happened to Biggie Lanks, and just happy that um, hold on here, and yeah, Biggie. I'm happy that his ankles are shot, but he's training to 1 second. Yeah, again, happy Biggie. Um, Happy that he avoided major drama. Seems that Biggie is a human that um, everyone loves. To Biggie, I know I had a video here of Biggie. Let's see. See, Biggie, Biggie. Let's see. As the time goes by. Let's see. And this video is very much well worth it. I get it. Let's see. Actually, scrap that. It's somewhere here. This is Big E's message to his fans after he broke his neck. I'll be right back. 1 second. Actually went into top 10 Scott hormones, believe it or not. So big ups to Biggie. Hopefully he is recovers soon enough. Last thing is I want to just kind of wrap this up here. We're well over an hour, and I do ask you to hit the subscribe button from the Belushi Sports Show. Have wrestling content here as well. I will save my WrestleMania predictions closer on, and kind of my analysis, my thoughts on it. Um, yeah, it will be. I'm not sure if it will be on a live or will it be on a regular video upload, but do look for it. You'll be seeing some baseball card videos too coming up. So from the Beaches Sports Show, not only do we do wrestling, we do not only do we do wrestling, we do other sports as well. And kind of rounding it up, finishing up. Listen, William Regal, um, just a great wrestling mind. He has helped out a lot of individuals. Um, he was a great wrestler himself. I remember him, WCW TV champ, right? Sir William Regal, old school. Surprised he was 53. He mentioned. Good that he's with AEW. He's going to be able to bring you a lot of knowledge. I think the role as a TV personality is fine, because he was a personality, the figurehead for AEW. So he'll be just fine. He won't lose himself on the mic. Managing, Danielson and Bryan is the good thing for them. Um, could see somehow FTR trying to work their way into a Riddle and Orton was you know, but that's for another time, another story. Raven, rather, I'm sorry, um, no different time and story. But Regal is an arm, and he will be great in that managerial role that he has, um, with not a faction, believe it or not. So I hope all is well, and I look forward to speaking to you guys very, very soon. This has been, what was it? Yeah, this has been, so that's it, guys. Yeah, here we are. That's it. It was a little bit of a lag. Thank you for watching, subscribing, and that notification